Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by BEVIS here at the MGM Grand Media Room, joined by pathological liar, that is Mr. Eddie Hearn.
Spelt wrong as well.
Was it spelt wrong, was it? I got bored of introducing you as Eddie Hearn, promoter Eddie Hearn, so I thought I'll introduce you as Hearn. Ed, just seen the face-off between Devin Haney and Jojo Diaz. They had a couple of words yesterday after the press conference, but yeah, you was the man up there. What was said?
You're a bum. You're going to get knocked out. Make sure you exchange with me. This is my show. You're too small. You're a bum. And a few other bits and pieces.
Classic boxing stuff, basically. But I can always see you like loving it when that sort of stuff's going on. And to be honest, we love it because it kind of gives that big fight feel, doesn't it?
It is a big fight. It's a massive fight, and it's a really important fight for both guys. It's a really important fight for the division, really important fight for boxing. And that's just why you're seeing that. You know, you saw it last week, probably 5 times, a little bit more banter and tension, but you're seeing tension this week because both guys sit on the verge of life-changing moves and life-changing fights, and this is a massive fight for the division and a brilliant fight as well. And I feel like Jojo feels that he should be the favourite for this fight. You know, he talks about his resume, and for Devin, we feel, you know, there's talk, and I know you can say that this kid could be the next Mayweather, but you've got to prove it, and you've got to prove it, and you prove it. And so far, you know, this year in the last year he's gone Gamboa, Linares and Jojo Diaz. Nice run, but a long way to go. But if he is the real deal, he's got to win tomorrow and he's got to look good.
You talk about... What am I what? Oh no, I was focusing, just so you look even better than you do now, don't worry. You talk about Jojo Diaz, and he feels that he should be the favourite. If you look at the betting odds, and obviously the betting odds aren't the be all and end all, Jojo's been in, probably had to bite down on his gum shield more times. So does it show a lot about Devin Haney, the fact that he is such a big favourite, despite the fact that he hasn't been in perhaps the fights dog-wise that Jojo Diaz?
He's just very well regarded. Do you know what I mean? People know how good Devin Haney is. They've seen it in the gyms. They've seen it in sparring. He's not a secret in boxing anymore. He used to be. But you've still got to prove it. And you've got to, you know, we saw it last week with Kambosos. Did we know that Kambosos had that kind of dog in him? You know, as Devin got dog in him. Showed a little bit of it against Linares when he got buzzed. But he might have to show a bit more of that tomorrow night in a different kind of way, in a different kind of fight. And I expect him to keep it long, and I expect him to outbox Jojo Diaz, but I also expect him to sit in the pocket and be aggressive and look to close the show.
It's always dangerous giving someone a Mayweather comparison. We've seen it with so many young American fighters, but Devin kind of oozes, even the sort of the Mayweather character.
The similarities are there. Even in the style, the technique, you know, the sort of way that his career's progressed, and Devin still needs that breakout moment. You know, he's not a massive star yet. He's a star with a lot of potential. But these are the kind of fights and these are the kind of performances. Like Mayweather. Mayweather was never a star coming through because he was really good and no one really wanted to box him. He had to take chances. Sometimes probably had to take money that he didn't think was fair. But he believed in himself and he produced the special moments when it was asked of him. And that's a special fighter. And that's what we're calling on tomorrow night from Devin Haney. Show how special you are. Because we all talk it, we all believe in you. Now, it's down to you. Go and show the world how good you are, son. That's the message for Devin Haney tomorrow. And it's probably a good title for your thing, rather than some clickbait that you might use.
Rather than a swear word with loads of asterisks. Just quickly, we didn't talk about the rest of the card. Jessica McCaskill, she just oozes like confidence, is head down, is focus. She is undisputed champion, so there is no reason why she wouldn't. But yeah, she's in a good fight tomorrow.
Yeah, Candy White's kind of like a seasoned pro, and she came in last minute, but she had a fight scheduled for this weekend, so she's fit. She's going to give it everything. And McCaskill, bit of pressure on her because she wants to get those big fights next year. Montana Love's in a really tough fight against Carlos Diaz. 1 defeat to Zepeda. This is a really, really good fight and a tough fight for Montana, who I think is a future star of the sport. Filip Hrgović, back in I'll say stay busy. You know, he's fighting a good, decent, undefeated fighter. But we all know what we want, and you know, he made it clear what he wants yesterday as well. As you said, Jessica McCaskill, Mark Castro, Amo Williams back on the card. Ricardo Sandoval, who is in a good fight as well. Golden Boy put that fight on, and obviously, remember his fight with Jay Harris was really entertaining. Amari Jones is in a really tough fight as well. Alexis Espino, so good card.
Talk about Filip Hrgović, and obviously we was in New Hampshire talking about Andre, and I know there's some fighters that are good and you enjoy promoting them and pushing them, but they're also like a pain in the arse to promote. And I kind of sense that with Filip Hrgović simply because nobody really wants to fight him. Like, he seems like a bit of a pain in the arse, but at the same time, he's a gem. So
pain in the arse is a wrong phrase, because they're really talented, and any time you get to work with a talented fighter is a blessing. Frustrating is a better word. It's been really frustrating with Filip, but we've kept him active. Do you know what I mean? He's had 2 fights in, I don't know, 2-3 months. They're not the fights he wants, and we have to be careful that we don't let him miss his opportunity in his prime. And the next fight must be that IBF final eliminator, and it will be. And Andre, you know, we've kept him active as well, but we still want those guys to be in the big career-defining fights, and you know, we'll have to see how it plays out.
I was going to say, is it a dangerous game? Perhaps not a dangerous game, but because you've got so many heavyweights who are Dillian's vying for his shot and the belts are tied up. So technically, if you get your shot at one, you could get your shot at all of them. So you've got Dillian, you've got Filip, Joshua, Usyk, whatever. You've got your fingers in so many pies with these heavyweights. Yeah, Del Boy Parker. So is it kind of a dangerous game to sort of push some of these heavyweights when you've got other guys who perhaps further along the line?
It's always difficult, because sometimes the move you make for one fighter could affect another fighter that you represent. Do you know what I mean? So you just got to be honest with people. You know, we're operating at such a high level. You're not talking about us. You know, we do English title fights and British title fights, but we're talking about, you know, we're in every single division, whether it's champions, whether it's mandatory challengers, whether it's top 15 guys, top 10 guys, regional champions. We cover every division of the sport, and it's a full-time job just thinking about every single fighter, and I do it every day. And doesn't matter if it's Dillian, doesn't matter if it's Zhang or Hrgović, we've got a job to do for everyone, and we'll do that to the best of our ability.
Ed, I called you a pathological liar, spelt wrong, of course. We do have to address that. I feel like there's just going to be a continuous back and forth, and next time I speak to you, there would have been someone else. I know you replied on Twitter, but it was more about the Haney-Tank comparisons than anything personal, really.
I just said that the Haney-Diaz fight is a much better fight than Tank against Cruz, and a bigger fight, and it is. You know, he says, oh, we've sold more tickets than you. I'm not sure about that, but probably. Like, Tank is a good draw at the box office. Haney's, we're still building him. But I just said that it's the bigger and better fight. It is. Everyone knows that. You ask them. Ask anybody in boxing, they'll tell you the same. So, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do about Leonard. You know. I'm worried, you know, I'm not worried for him or worried about him, but I think that he's got to just forget about me. You know, if I'm not relevant, like he says I'm not relevant, you know, I mean, he says, this is the last time I'm going to address it, and then sends 20 tweets out about it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, is that honestly the last time you're going to address me? But him and Stephen Espinosa spend their whole day liking tweets that are slagging me off. I mean, what are you doing? Get over it. I'm only just some fat geezer from England, you know. But the problem is, Oscar, I've got to tell you, this is my bread and butter. I love it. I mean, when else has there been a British promoter that has gone into the States all guns blazing? And I haven't creeped in, have I? I've come in with a big mouth and a big set of cojones and told everyone I'm going to take over the world. It's taken time, but you cannot sit there and not put us in the conversation with Top Rank and PBC. We are the 3 main promoters in this country. Matchroom, PBC and Top Rank. We're already there. We're in that conversation. Just me, some little geezer large geezer from Essex, England. And I'm living the dream. But this is what I live for. So when I see things like that from Leonard yesterday, I can't tell you what it does to me. It's so dangerous. And part of me thinks I should just be quiet and just let them talk. But then part of me feels like, no, you live for this. And it's good that all the American guys are talking about me as well. That helps. Oscar does it all the time. It's brilliant for me. Not Leonard, because he's got no profile. But Oscar has got a massive following. You know, so when he starts talking about me, it's really actually quite good for me. Honestly, I have no animosity towards Leonard Ellerbe at all. I think the guy does a good job. And I think they've done a great job with Tank. But he really doesn't like me. And Stephen Espinosa. You know, I've done a number of deals with him, and I went to shake his hand at the Canelo Alvarez fight, and he turned his back on me. Wouldn't shake my hand. It's a sign of the man.
crack me up. What are we going to do about Leonard? When will you next? When did you last see him, and when will you next potentially see Leonard Ellerbe? Because I can't picture you two crossing paths like anywhere fighter-wise along the line.
We won't cross paths because they said they only make fights between PBC guys and PBC guys. So, what Leonard's got to understand is this is good. Do you know what I mean? This is good for boxing because, you know, I've got a massive profile, and if I talk about him, which I'm doing now, that's great for him. You know, and it's just good. It gets people talking, but it's never personal. I'm not going to start saying nasty things about him. All I'm saying is my show's better than yours, mate. That's all. Stop laughing.
It's funny though, like the you and Leonard thing. Like, I'm loving the. We're going to timeline it in a year, and we're going to clip all of it together. You talking about Leonard?
It's good for boxing. We want rivalry. They want me out. I ain't going nowhere.
Remember the thing, obviously, with Joshua and Fury, and then it was like you and Frank are going to meet, and then it's you was going to have a dinner. Then it's kind of like alongside the fight, there's the promoter and the stable rivalry sort of thing. I suppose that is part and parcel of the game, despite the fact that you aren't the guys in the ring. But it helps, isn't it? It's good.
Things move on. You know, when we talked about me meeting Frank for lunch and stuff, that was quite a few years ago. You know, that's like going to lunch at Harvester or going to lunch at, I don't know, Nobu in Miami. That's where we're at now. Do you know what I mean? So things progress, and like competition's good. All of these people are going for it. People are putting money in. People are spending mad money. It's so good for the fighters. Do you know what I mean? But we just keep our head and just have fun. Got to just keep smiling. Don't take yourself too seriously. I know that I talk shit sometimes, and I'm not perfect, but I'm the best, unequivocally. But I don't always get it right. But I'm young and I'm fresh. And, you know, as I said, I've got big cojones and we're going nowhere. It's global domination. It's the only way to go. I'm sorry, I say this kind of stuff. A lot of the time I'm just winding people up. But take it how you will.
I'll give you fresh. I'm not sure about young. Finally,
I wouldn't even say fresh. Yeah. Young in the game. You know what I mean?
Frank Warren said to Umar or Coogan, whoever was at the half-yard press conference, that talks have opened with AJ. Obviously, I heard you say to someone else, the classic, I spoke to Joshua. But, yeah, have talks started? I know I only spoke to you 2 days ago, but have they opened?
Not really. I mean, I talked to Joshua this morning, which I actually did. He made it very clear, look, don't bring me anything unless you really feel that, yeah, because not even, do you know what, Oscar, it's not even just the money, it's about the route. Sometimes you can take a deal that, you know, step aside and wait for this and then that. We've been waiting a long time for undisputed fights and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So it would have to be something that was so concrete, so beneficial to Anthony Joshua's career, a lot of money as well, for me to even have that conversation with him. Do you understand? Because he made it clear this morning, it's against everything he believes in. Do you know what I mean? All he's thinking about is rematching Usyk. And he said to me quite, not aggressively, but bluntly, don't bring me anything that is just going to wind me up because you know me better than that. Do you know what I mean? He's a throwback fighter. He just wants to fight Alexander Usyk. If there's a route that makes sense for his career, and the pressure will be on me to take that to 258 and AJ, we'll do it. As in, we'll have the conversation. But I have to be very careful because he ain't in a mood to muck around and play around.
All right, Ed, thank you very much for your time. On a personal note, can I say I've had a good time, and can I say thank you for sending a message to my brother, because that honestly meant the world to him. So on a personal note, I'm going to say that he's good. He's recovering and he's good, but that meant a lot to him. Probably.
Good. Well, listen, family is important, and you know, sometimes your life can flash before your eyes, so you've got to enjoy it every day. And at this moment, I will read a poem. The reason I'll read a poem is because I was reading it this morning. And I would like to read it on behalf of your brother. And it goes a little something like this. It's called The Man in the Glass. When you get what you want in your struggle for self, and the world makes you king for a day, then go to the mirror and look at yourself and see what that man has to say. For it isn't your father or mother or wife who judgment upon you must pass. The fella whose verdict counts most in your life is the man staring back in the glass. He's the fella to please, never mind all the rest, for he's with you clear up to the end. And you've passed your most dangerous, difficult test if the man in the glass is your friend. You may be like Jack Horner, a chisel, a plum, and think you're a wonderful guy, but the guy in the glass says you're only a bum if you can't look him straight in the eye. You can only fool the whole world down the pathway of years and get pats on the back as you pass. But your final reward will be heartache and tears if you've cheated the man in the glass.